Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Ann Hill, certified executive coach and founder of Ann Hill Coaching, empowering high-functioning women in midlife to reclaim their energy, confidence, and leadership during perimenopause and transitions. With over 20 years as a senior leader and a science and health background, Ann blends practical tools, somatic practices, and hormone-aware strategies to help clients break free from burnout, imposter syndrome, and people-pleasing for clear, conviction-driven decisions. Ann, a very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks for having me, Zach.
Absolutely. Going to be a great episode, a lot to dive into. Before we do, I do like to start with your background, though. So before entrepreneurship, before coaching, what you're doing now, can you walk us through what were you doing previously and what was really your inspiration to get into this space?
I began my life actually as a scientist. So I was microbiology, and I was totally inspired by a children's TV program that we have here in the UK called Blue Peter. And on that, there was a program about badgers and tuberculosis. And I decided at about 7, I wanted to be a scientist. Little did I know that science would bring me really into the world of medicine. And I was practicing and particularly interested in that element of science at the height of the HIV pandemic. And so it was cutting edge, it was novel, there was lots of research. But I realized here was me in my lab, totally isolated, but getting to know these people literally by the bacteria that they had, and realized there was a whole story. And there were people behind those names. And I became much more interested in the people. And that is literally what took me out of the laboratory. So I realized I could get more services, so more microbiology to people, more healthcare to people by working with people. And as we know, you can't tell people what to do. They have to decide for themselves. And hence, I got into coaching, first through business transformation. And I knew that to lead services and make a real difference, people have to believe they can. And that's the work of an executive coach and a mentor. And it really came from there. And then what I realized, so I was seeing women at the height of their careers, directors, so VP level, chief executive level, chairs of boards, chairs of companies, chairs of organizations. And they were hitting this hormone impasse that happens mid-30s onwards. And for some women, and I know because I've been through this one myself, out of nowhere, everything you believe about yourself, everything you believe about your capabilities can feel like it's just gone. So for me, anybody coaching women, executives, senior leaders in midlife, I genuinely believe they need to understand this hormone stuff that's going on as well. Not to advise about hormone health. If somebody loses their confidence, and you can literally see it in people that I've seen it in women that I've been working with, coaching them by traditional models and giving them confidence tools isn't going to solve the problem of this massive hormone change, massive identity change. So the scientist in me loves the science of that. And scientist in me understands how that impacts and how it works. And it's evolving every day. You know, it's just like science was evolving in the HIV era. Now it's evolving about hormones. And the CDC have made some incredible moves over the last couple of weeks. So I think it all comes together.
I love that. Quite the journey. Quite the journey. I think you're my first scientist turned coach that I've had on the show. So this is going to be a good one. Absolutely. I love to dive into your work today. I'm sure it's gone through some iterations over time, but can you walk us through what does working with Anne look like today? How do you structure your work with your clients? Everything like that.
So I always start any program that I have with a discovery call, which I know is common for many coaches, but it can be really scary for a potential client. So I make sure they have everything that they would want to know about that call. And through the conversation, I'm always given the lead that they are the one choosing me. Now, I know as we'll all know as coaches on this podcast that you're looking for the right fit, but I aim to make it as straightforward that somebody can say, actually, I don't think you are right for me. And inadvertently, what that does, I get great clients. I get clients that are so up for doing the work. I've got three main packages that I have. So I do something called Stop Being Stuck. That goes right back into our story. We arrive at grown-ups with the stories we were carrying as children. And that feeling that women will get, anybody, this stuff works on men too, will get in a meeting and they don't say their killer line or they don't have the confidence to show their genius. That really gets into that. I do work with people purely on work-based challenges. So coaching them along that, giving them, because I've got a business transformation background as well, giving them practical tools and techniques, but also coaching through. And then I've just launched my own signature coaching model, the Empowered Transition Blueprint. It's 9 steps. It's what I know through my experience and through the evidence and literature as well. If you can get these 9 steps in place and make them work for you, truly so they fit to your life, the way you live, the way you want to lead, the way you want to be, then we can literally achieve anything. So my coaching, it's
Hmm.
very empowering. It's around clients' needs. Now, I will use tools, so I'm not totally non-directional, although I do love non-directional coaching because you just don't know where it's going to go. But I make sure that my clients have what they need in the sessions, and I will always say to them, the magic happens between sessions. It's what you do between. When they will come back, we talk about how they got on, what stopped them, what do they need, and we keep building the journey around their needs. I think it's so important as coaches. We're not totally regimental and almost dictating a journey. My clients will experience focus will be on them. I can step into mentor role when I need to. And sometimes people will come to me because they've seen the work that I've done in the past. But I will always get permission for that because I think that's really important. Many of us will have been told through our lives, midlife, in fact, any time of life, as grown ups, when we're confident in making our own judgments and our own decisions, I think our whole life changes. So mine is
Hmm.
about building confidence and self-trust in the people that I work with. Because I know when they have that, they will take brave actions. They will step forward. Their confidence will grow. And they'll take action when they're not confident because they trust themselves. That is the magic for me. Just
Hmm.
seeing how people change.
Very powerful. And as we know, change doesn't happen overnight. or even over a couple nights. So I am curious, you're doing deep work with your clients. How long do you typically work with your clients for? How long does that transformation process typically take?
See, I don't believe that change doesn't happen overnight. People can change and have an insight in a sentence. And the work that we do in Stop Being Stuck, I think it's one of the most powerful certifications I've got. Stop Being Stuck takes people back to the moment where they learned, where they learned their perfectionism, where they learned to people please, where they started the self criticism. I was a 6 year old. That's a long way to go back for me. But realizing that was it, it was in a 3 hour session. It was probably about 15 minutes at the end of the session. And I see this in my clients as well. When you realize where that story came from, it's like your whole world changes anyway. I do agree with you though that big change, big leadership change, how you work, how you relate, that takes time and that takes practice. But when you've had the realization where your story has come from and where it's rooted and how you can be different in those situations, that's really powerful.
Absolutely. Look into the back end of the business for a second. How are your clients currently finding you to work with you?
I have a lot of referrals. So I post a lot on LinkedIn, so I do get people coming to me through LinkedIn. I'm starting to use social media much more, and my plans for next year in particular are to start to use paid advertising.
Nice.
But I haven't gotten into that yet. So that's my plan for next year.
Yeah, great goal to have. I am curious. You mentioned you're doing referrals right now. Referrals are great, right? Like you mentioned earlier, they come to you warm, they know you. It's a good process. A lot of the people that come on the show, they do mention, though, can be a little inconsistent. Is that maybe one of the reasons why you're leaning towards paid advertising, just to get more consistent lead flow?
Yeah, there's two reasons. So one is consistent lead flow, but also I want to broaden the industries and the horizons that my clients are coming from.
Hmm,
So a lot of them are coming from healthcare just because of my background and the relationships that I have. But I know these leadership skills, they're universal. So I'd like to broaden my clientele as well. Something that I am wrestling with, thinking about, because we're all taught to niche down. I Over the years, I've worked with a lot of men. So, is that something that I consider for next year? Probably. I don't know. I will
hmm.
have to scope that out. And because of price point, I want to look at the options of group coaching as well. So, part of my business plan for next year is to launch a group coaching offer as well.
Nice. A little more accessibility there. And some people have a negative view towards group coaching, but most of those people have probably never been in a group coaching platform before. If it's intimate enough, and I think, what they call the sanctuary is set properly, of course, by the person running it, it can be much more impactful than one-on-one work in some situations. Just knowing that you're not alone in the situation that you're in, that other people are struggling. And then you get to connect with them and build relationships. I found group coaching to be highly effective. And I think in your space, I think it'll do really well. I think just women or men, whether it could be men as well, just not knowing that they're not alone, I think could be very good. So I think group coaching could be a great fit. So the most of the coaching you're doing now, it's all one-on-one. Is that right?
It's all one on one, but through my corporate career, I did a lot of group coaching.
Mm.
So I do know that creating the community and the psychological contracting and the safe space, that's the really important part. But it's fantastic being part of a group that have got the same problems as you because there is genius in that group and you learn, we all learn from other people, don't we?
Very well said. With your background in you facilitated group coaching before, I am very curious. Like I mentioned, keeping it intimate is very important, right? People feeling safe and secure to share really how they're feeling. Have you found there to be like a right number of people in a group coaching program to maintain that intimacy while also having enough people to be able to share and connect with others?
I prefer to have groups of about 6 or 7 purely. So if I work on the assumption that I will be facilitating, leading, coordinating, and doing any breakout, that's a lot of people for one person to make sure they get right. So, one of the considerations that I've got to think about is partnering with a co facilitator. But for my first program, I'm looking at no more than 7 people.
Got it. Very intimate. I like that a lot. Some people have told me 15, 20. I'm like, can 15, 20 people be intimate? 6 or 7 definitely can.
Yeah, it's a risk, isn't it? So you can switch off, and I've done it myself. You can
Mhm.
switch off in a big group, can't you? But if the group is too small, it can feel intimidating. So there's a balance.
Yeah. Maybe depends on maybe the offer itself. Just exactly, hey, what is being talked about here? What are we all dealing with? But it sounds like you know what you're doing. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's that power of community. So community building, and that's a skill to learn. And that was a skill that I learned in my old roles. And I guess I was really lucky in that because I haven't seen it offered in any coaching development programs.
You can be the one. You can be the one.
Exactly.
And will be the one. I love it. I love it. We talked about 2026 a little bit, maybe getting into some paid advertising, the group coaching, maybe adding something for the men as well. I'm curious if there's any goals you've set for yourself. Could be amount of clients helped, could be bringing on a team to help you out and to scale the business. Is there any goals like that you've set for yourself? Let's see.
Here is my goal set.
That's a decent
So
amount of
this is,
goals.
yeah, so I've got my personal ones because why would you do this if it feeds my personal life as well. I've got an amount of money I want to earn. I have business mentoring. So, because when you start off as a coach, I thought, oh gosh, I'll just coach all day long and it'll be all fairy dust and everything like that. It isn't, as we all know. You have to learn to run the business. So I have a business mentor. I am very clear in what I need to earn. I know my costs. I know what I've got to invest in next year. So, yes, I know how many clients that relates to.
Hmm.
I've got awards and certifications. Apart from credibility, when I think for many of us in our industry, it's a lovely little shot of self belief as well. So, when I won my award earlier this year, I thought, oh, it was honestly, it was so unexpected. It was fabulous. And what I would like to do, because there is a risk, particularly as a solopreneur, I do have to think about partnership. I think I'd work rather than taking on staff, I'd probably look for a collaboration. I'm also looking at, so part of my goal here around February is scoping out some evergreen products. So some online, on demand coaching that people can access themselves.
Hmm.
So I do have a plan for 2026.
Yeah.
I never expected to be so business focused, which sounds crazy now looking back on it. I was a scientist.
Here we are.
Here
Here
we
we
are.
are. I love it. And where can the listeners find you? Where can they connect with you online?
They can find me on my website, annhillcoaching.com, and I'm on LinkedIn as Anne Hill Coach. And there's links to my socials on there as well.
Perfect. And thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure having you on the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Zach. It was great.
Absolutely. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Anne on her social media and website. All of those links will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Till then, keep on climbing.